Hi, I'm Sarah, Director of Education here at HUM.
And I'm Zena, our Editorial Director.
And we want to talk to you a little bit about diets and the fact that it seems like everything is so restricted today. You're not supposed to eat gluten or sugar or dairy or eggs or soy. It's on and on and on to the point where it's like, well, what can you actually eat? So what we want to talk about today is a very special test called an MRT test. And what that does is it looks at food sensitivities in your personal body, so you know what foods you should and shouldn't eat.
So I'm actually going to be taking the MRT test to try and figure out if there's some dietary fixes for some ongoing eczema I've been having for a year now. And I've done Whole30 and I've done keto, and I have some suspicions about things that I might be having adverse reactions to, but I didn't do a great job reintroducing things when I came off of those diets, so I still don't really know.
And it's hard to understand what's going on with food sensitivities because sometimes there's delayed response. So you can eat something and then 2 days later it can react, and it can be really tricky to systematically go through and say, all right, I'm not gonna eat this, I'm gonna eliminate that and reintroduce. It can be really complicated if you're not super systematic about it.
Right. So what is the MRT test and how does it work?
Yes, the reason I love this test is because it measures mediated response. So it's looking at your immune response. A lot of allergy tests will look at something called IgE, which basically shows you that there's an actual allergen. Great, but sometimes we have sensitivities that are not always so easy to capture. A popular way to look at this is through IgG testing. The issue with IgG is that you can be having a reaction, but if it's not in a great enough amount, the test won't capture it. So it can give you a false negative. This is much more thorough. It looks at 170 different potential sensitivities, and it's looking at your immune response.
So what is the actual process for getting the MRT test done?
The MRT test comes in a little kit that you can take with you. You can use a mobile phlebotomist or a nurse who can draw your blood. There's 4 different vials that they'll fill. You complete a requisition form, and then it gets mailed to a lab where it's tested for 170 different potential sensitivities. What's really important to understand when you're preparing for this test, any type of allergy or food sensitivity testing, is you want to expose your body to a potential sensitivity so that the test can register the reaction.
So you have to have it in your system for it to flag it.
Yeah. And if you have an allergy, I'm not saying that you should go out and eat the foods that you've already been deemed allergic to. No.
One thing I know people are always really interested in when it comes to these tests is the cost. So just to give people an expectation, how much does the cost?
Yeah, so this one is probably on the more expensive end of testing. It's about $335 to run this test, plus you need to figure out where you're getting your blood drawn from. And that's the cost, but again, it's super comprehensive. You get the highest amount of sensitivities that I've seen, and it's pretty accurate.
All right, so I have scheduled my blood draw. I'm really excited to see what results come back. I hope to find out very soon. Stay tuned, we'll let you know what comes up. So my MRT test is tomorrow, and Sarah suggested that if I've been avoiding certain foods, I get a smattering of it in my system just so it can pick up if I have any sensitivities. So I'll show you the little smorgasbord I've put together of potential allergens.
I have pizza in case gluten is a culprit. I also have been kind of avoiding grains, so I did some quinoa, there's some barley, there's some rice, some tofu for soy, there's dairy on the pizza, of course, and dolma. Yeah, we'll see if any of this is upsetting my system tomorrow, I guess.
So today I'm in the office. I'm gonna get my blood drawn for the MRT test. They're actually coming to me, which is very convenient and a little strange to have your blood drawn at work. This is totally normal getting your blood drawn at the office.
It's 1 week later, and we have the results for your MRT test.
I am so excited. And I think this is great because I tried eliminating sugar and some grains, and I felt like there was a little progress, but then my eczema came back and it was still not great. So I'm very excited. That's why you do tests like these, so you can find out exactly what's going on in there.
I mean, you can go through an elimination diet, but it's really painful and it's really systematic, and you have to be organized. So just going into your body and getting the actual results and seeing what is your immune system responding to gives us insight. And I think what we'll find out here is there's some weird things that were reactive. So the way the MRT test works is it breaks things down into non-reactive, moderately reactive, and reactive, and it kind of ranks them from green, yellow to red. But really, if you're having a moderate reaction, it's still something we want to eliminate. So the yellow and red foods are going to be ones that we want to look at taking out.
Okay.
So I'm going to go through what we found and what's reactive, because you had a couple really high reactive foods. Sometimes I see them where it's like a bunch of yellows, or like all the greens are really elevated but not quite yellow. But we have some good, good data. So I have it here.
Okay.
All right, so first we're looking at chemicals, and this is testing what potential chemicals you're reactive to. So you do have this moderate reaction to red number 3 and blue number 2.
Ooh.
I don't know if that's anything, thinking about what you're eating. I don't know if it's something you consume, but it's just something to be aware of. We're going to be taking that out of your diet.
Okay.
Now here's the interesting one. Vegetables. So most of these are kind of quiet, and then we get to cauliflower and broccoli.
Oh my god, I eat so much broccoli.
Which are highly reactive, and then chard is the third one that's reactive.
Weird.
So these are actually causing your body to have an immune response and potentially causing inflammation.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I was saying, like, you can do elimination, but who's gonna eliminate broccoli and cauliflower and be like, I know, I'll try that.
I would never have thought, and I really do eat like cauliflower and broccoli every week.
So that's gonna be something we're gonna have to talk about, rotating out. Chard as well, and then I'll show you, we're actually gonna look at the quantifiable numbers for each one and what they're reacting to, and then we'll build a diet for you based on that.
Okay.
All right, so let's keep going to beans, nuts, legumes, and seeds. Soybeans.
Soy!
Super reactive.
Oh my
Super
gosh.
reactive. How much soy do you eat in a week?
I don't know. Like, I actually, it's funny because I don't think I really eat a ton of, like, I don't really love tofu. But I feel like soy is one of those products that's like, if I have like a protein bar or something, there's probably soy in it, or if I have anything like processed.
Processed foods are gonna have that. I mean, if you look at a lot of processed foods, soybean oil is a big component of those. So maybe, when we're looking at what is reacting for you and you're like, oh, it's everything, maybe just processed foods, removing that can be really helpful. As far as fruits, peach was moderately reactive, so still something we want to take out, at least for now. We're going to do this in phases. So for the first part of this, we'll eliminate anything that's potentially reactive. Meat, poultry, good there.
Thank God.
Flavor enhancers, look at this.
Sugar! I knew it! Oh my gosh.
Cane sugar is a highly inflammatory reactive food for you. Now this doesn't flag for everybody, which I think is really interesting. This is one of the first couple times I've seen cane sugar be so high.
Really?
Yeah, so cane sugar, really reactive, and then parsley and paprika and oregano are other ones that are moderately inflammatory and reactive for you. So we do want to look at removing those. But look, barley is like nothing. Which
so
is
interesting. Yeah, because I thought it was going to be grains.
No, barley, spelt, rye, millet, kamut, quinoa, oat, all okay. These are starting to kind of trend up a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But buckwheat, amaranth, rice, and wheat are ones that are reactive that we want to remove for at least 2 weeks. Hops and yeast.
Hops and yeast. Buy beer. Sorry. It was fun while it lasted.
It's a good one. Rainbow trout. Highly reactive.
Weird.
Salmon.
Salmon!
Yeah.
Oh, and like shrimp is kind of up there too. And catfish.
You're better with clams.
So fascinating.
And then cow's milk actually has a moderate reaction level. And I typically tell people whenever you're doing an elimination diet, whenever you're trying to heal inflammation, to remove dairy.
Yeah.
Not just because people react to what's in dairy, but because you have to think about what that animal was eating. So if that animal is eating soy, or if that animal is eating grains or wheat and you're reactive to it, you're still gonna get products of it from that cheese or
that
from
actually
that dairy.
really makes sense.
So we just kind of like blanket eliminate it in the first 2 weeks of this elimination phase, and then we can reintroduce it and see how your hands react. I mean, you have a really good telltale way to see how your body's responding to things, which is great. So that's the overview of all the different foods that were tested.
Amazing. I think this is great, and I actually feel a lot more empowered having this information. I think it's just really frustrating when you suspect there's something in your diet, and it just like starts to feel like food is a little unsafe, and every meal you're like, is this gonna, like, I don't know. And that's such an unsavory feeling to be carrying around with. So it really, like, I'm so excited about this. I really feel like I have a great tool that I can use for my health, and that I feel like I have options and I know what they are, and that like things are safe. And Oh, it's such good peace of mind to have. I'm so excited about this.
And as you go through this and know that you're empowered in your body, it also helps decrease stress, which is another
Right.
exacerbator of it. So it
Right.
just, anytime, I always say, anytime you can get more data, anytime you can get more personalized information about you, that's the best way to go because it just helps kind of complete an overall nutrition plan.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for helping me do my MRT test. I'm really happy to have the results. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment below with any questions you have, and don't forget to stay tuned for more. Well, I am so thrilled about this. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Of course.
Can we do one more?